I give our guys a lot of credit, and I think we talked about this before the game, just the influx of players coming in and out, and over the last 10 days, and trying to figure out how we can continue to utilize everybody, and just the level of sacrifice that goes into trying to figure those things out. And I thought a lot of guys did a really contributed in a lot of different ways. I personally felt like Russell tonight did an incredible job just in managing the game, getting other guys involved, finding shooters, picking his spots, getting the ball where it needed to go, rebounding, and just keeping really everybody totally engaged and got everybody going in a very, very positive way. And again, like I said, I think when you have change, sometimes your initial reaction is to say, how's this going to affect me? And we got a great group of guys in that locker room that are trying to, with our coaching staff, figure out how we can get better and improve and utilize everyone.
Billy, you guys are now 25-6 when Russ records a triple-double. I mean, that's a number that catches your eye. Do you see any correlation to the way that he's played in those games and the way that you guys have performed?
The one thing, I do really agree with sometimes he says, like, he's always kind of like evaluating the game. And I know there was like a lot of talk about his usage rate last game, and, is this just trying to put everything on his back? We needed that. We were struggling shooting the ball. If you look at the Dallas game, coming off that game with 2 for 24 from the three-point line, he's surveying everything and trying to figure out a way. Doug gave us a great boost coming off the start that second quarter, so he was hot a little bit in terms of making some shots. He established Steven early in the game on some post-ups. He found guys in different areas of the floor. So I think he's always evaluating and viewing it from the perspective, okay, what do I need to do and what does the team need from me? And then I think he tries to do it. And I know there's games where his usage rate's through the ceiling, but that's maybe what the game requires for that night for him. And tonight was a game where he was just leading, managing, getting everybody involved. And listen, Steven Adams I thought was terrific tonight. He did a great job. He established a low post, and he rolled to the basket and did a lot of really, really positive things. And I think sometimes when Steven's got it going like that, Russell can play off of that. Victor, I thought, had some good plays in the first half where he found them, and Victor played in some pick and roll and played downhill. So to me, I just always view it as he's always evaluating what's going on, in terms of making decisions of what the team actually needs. And I think he always puts the team first.
Do you guys think that you're at your best when it goes this way versus
Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, I think there's sometimes where Russell, just because of his competitiveness and because how much he wants to win and how much he wants to help the team, there's times like if we're struggling, and I think over 82 games, you're going to have games you're struggling, you don't play well. He's going to try to do things to help our team. But we got a lot of contributions from a lot of different people. And like I said, Steven established himself. Ennis, even though he didn't have like this monster game, he was like impactful, and he found Ennis sometimes, and he found Doug. He got Alex shots. Like, he has a really good pulse of where we're at as a team. And I think sometimes you say, okay, just play like that all the time. Sometimes you'd be sitting, do you want more from Russell? Is there opportunity for Russell? Should he have done a little bit more? I mean, I know he's out. Like, you're always going to do that, and that's the thing I love about being around him and working with him and coaching him. Is it's not about like usage. It's about, okay, what does the team need at this moment in time? And he tries to do his best, very, very best he can to help the team in the moment in time. And I respect that, because you know what? Like he says this, he plays every game like it's the last game of his career. Like, I really, really admire that and respect that, because tomorrow's not promised, and he is just focused on right now. Like, what do I got to do right now to help the team right now in this moment? And I think for any player to sit there and forecast about how we need to play, he's competing to play every night.
For a guy who didn't score, Christian really was solid. Is he now the backup point, and can you talk about his play?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this before the game that I felt like I put myself personally, Norris, in a very, very difficult situation. I think as a point guard, anytime there's a change, and you miss as much time as he's missed with our team, 60-plus games in training camp, and now he's coming in and he's trying to run your team. So much of the point guard position is based on, how verbal and vocal you are, and when you don't have a great feel for what we're doing because you're still learning, I think that was hard on him. And I tried to acclimate him to see what he could do early, but I don't have, necessarily like that Samaj is just a set guy. I just think Norris is going to give us another boost once he kind of catches up to where we're at.
Billy, what did you think of the look with Taj starting, and how did you think Domas?
I'm sorry?
What did you think of the look with Taj starting, and what did you think about the way Domas?
I thought it's kind of like what I said before the game. I think you saw Domas do some thing. He was transferring the ball. He got behind the defense one time, had a great dunk. He was able to get a couple threes off. He had some mid-range jump shots. I thought he had some opportunities from the post. He made that one turnaround jump shot, but he did more. Instead of kind of like with that first unit, the way he was playing, it was 6 minutes and he's off the floor and he's just really kind of playing defense and trying to be an anchor. And that's what Taj, I think, can do really, really well. So I think it freed Domas up to do a little bit more. It actually gave him more playing time. I was hopeful that it would. I thought it was good for us. And I thought Taj played a really good game. I thought he did some really, really positive and really good things, for our team. And, Russ found him a lot at the free throw line for some jump shots. So, again, it's one game, and I totally get it. Leonard didn't even come back to the game in the fourth, and they've had a couple guys hurt or out, come off a back-to-back. So I really tried to evaluate it more from my perspective of where we were yesterday, the day before, and have we gotten better. And I thought, the change that we made helped us some, so that was encouraging to see. I'll be anxious to watch the film and see what it looks like.
It's one play pretty early in the game, but did that dunk that Domas have maybe give guys a little lift?
Yeah, it was a great play, and certainly he was very excited about it. I'm happy for Domas. Is a really he's a really good player who's got a very, very extensive skill set, and it was. I felt like he got a chance to play more to who he is today, in playing to who he was and who he is. I thought it helped our team.
I know there's a question maybe better before the game, but starting Taj, did that? I'm sure that was something you had thought about, long before just today. But
Right.
Bringing him in at this particular time, did that have anything to do with the defensive performances over the last 4 or 5 games leading in?
I would say this, that the decision to start Taj had nothing to do with losing 4 in a row. It had nothing to do with the defense. I really try to take the result out of it, because I think if you're making a decision sometimes on results, you're not looking at what's going on. And I felt like my responsibility as a coach was to try to look at our team and how can I get these guys collectively playing together and also playing to their strengths as individual players. And I think when you bring 3 new players in and 3 players go out, and then you have an injury to Ennis and have an injury to Victor, and all this is going on, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get some information. And just because we won the game tonight or played well, it's not like I think we found something. I think we've got that the biggest thing tonight is we defended at a much, much better level than we had in the previous games. So the decision was really more based on how can I help our group complement and play off of each other.